mind as we continue in that. I know everybody here knows me, so I don't have to introduce myself, but I am Aaron Wittenberger. I'm the Vice President of Administration and Finance for the Bluegrass IIBA chapter. And I get the distinct pleasure of talking to an old friend and someone I've known since he lived in New Jersey. And now he lives in Atlanta. So he was on the board of directors in New Jersey of the IIBA chapter there. Um, and even though he's in Atlanta now, he's a member of the Bluegrass chapter because he works for a company in Cincinnati. So Peter, like I said, I've been a friend for a long while. We've worked together on a few projects through IIBA and that kind of thing. We now work together. So we work for the same company here in Cincinnati. So as half of our audience does too. So other than that, he's got many of the certifications from IIBA and a couple of other organizations. So you want to tell us anything more about yourself, Peter?
Sure. Again, for those who don't know me, I'm Peter Lutz. I live in Atlanta, Georgia, even though I'm not. Um, I'm a member of, as Aaron said, of the Bluegrass chapter. And I previously was active in the IIBA in New Jersey, helping with marketing and other endeavors related to growing membership and promoting the profession and awareness of business analysis topics. I've been a BA for a number of years, too many to count, and I've uh, I've worked with a lot of different stakeholders in a variety of industries. Insurance, like Aaron said, I currently work for Cincinnati Insurance in the BA Center of Excellence, and uh, also worked for some large insurers you may be familiar with, like AIG and Chubb. I've also worked in healthcare and in professional services, management consulting. Was with Deloitte Consulting for a number of years. I'm really excited to be here with you all and to tell you a little bit about myself and the business analysis work that I do and have done in the past. So good to see you all.
All right. And we're continuing to climb and people coming in. So we got like three-quarters of the people that were registered for the event already here. So you're just now coming in. Welcome. We're glad to have you with us. Please feel free to tell us in the chat where you're joining us from today. And so let's start there, Peter, about what kind of work are you doing? I know you're a BA at Cincinnati Insurance, but I know I don't want you to give away any proprietary information or anything about the actual projects you're working on or that, but tell us a little bit.
I support stakeholders in the billing and commission space,
Oh, okay.
primarily with relating to enhancements to those systems to improve workflows and business processes to make them uh, more transparent and wherever possible to introduce lean or agile concepts. Anything that I can do to make things run more smoothly, I try to raise that up as much as is possible and to help move things along. The trains move a little bit slowly, but I do what I can to make them move a little bit more quickly and uh, um, learning about AI, things like that. That wherever I can improve myself and hopefully improve the organization and others around me, I strive to do that. Recently earned my certified business analysis professional certification and am interested in giving back to the BA community in the Bluegrass chapter and beyond.
Okay, excellent. And yeah, so you're in the billing and commissions area. I used to support that. I helped build that system um, and everything. So I was one. I was asked a few weeks ago who supports commissions, and I go, I don't know. I haven't been there in a long while.
The biggest endeavor I'm involved with is enabling the refund digital refunds for premiums. It's for the third phase of a project that will hopefully enable customers to receive digital refunds using the payment method that they prefer, whether it's debit, credit card, Venmo, those types of payment methods. And recently included, we're including Apple Pay and I believe Google Pay as well. So just working on requirements and trying to shepherd the project along and um, yeah, just do whatever I can to make things better.
Excellent. It's what we all do, right?
Absolutely. I think that's part of the role of a business analyst. I think a business analyst has to care about business and about those around them, the larger ecosystem, if you will, of the
Absolutely.
world in which we live, and try to improve things wherever possible. I think it's a great profession to be in. You can see opportunities that are out there and help to evaluate the merits and efficacy of proposed solutions. And I think it all relates. If you think about it, a lot of what we do relates to living and doing well in the world.
So, yes, absolutely. And so not only, working with the business and that, but understanding, even to a detailed level in that. So you got to learn fast, got to be able to
Yeah,
learn fast and
and
to
whenever possible, I try to introduce. I'm sorry, visual models as much as is possible to document the current state and proposed future state options using Visio, Miro, um, and tools like that.
good. All right. Um, you mentioned in the beginning a BA Center of Excellence. Why don't you explain what that is? How's the reporting structure and all of that for those that don't know about that?
Uh, BA Center of Excellence is basically a an org at Cincinnati. It's an organization of about approximately 80. I think it's about 80 to 90 professional business analysts who are all about using and using best practices as much as possible, and also largely about professional development and growth and helping each other to become better at business analysis. We have a lot of different things that the Center of Excellence does, including various professional development days and professional development activities. Last year, we all took a course in systems thinking, which was very, very beneficial in terms of um, best practices relating to decomposing a process or a problem and seeing things from a 360-degree viewpoint in order to reassemble it or to make it as efficient as possible and lean struggling to speak here, lean principles, using those principles as much as possible in developing the solution.
All right. I see Mayor here, so he's from London, England. We've gone international again. Yeah, so our BA Center of Excellence, it is a separate kind of reporting entity within the organization. As you said, I believe it's 86 BAs we have now. Um, and that, so we do report to the IT side of the house. So, and that, so instead of our BAs being across all the business units and all of that, we are structured together And the Center of Excellence, provides training for us. We had four new CBAPs, one of which is Peter, in the past couple of months, from the encouragement of the BA Center of Excellence leadership. So it's a great environment to be in my opinion.
I agree. Um, there aren't too many organizations out there that provide the learning and growth and collegiality, the opportunity to really learn from each other and help each other, um, mentoring people, helping them grow professionally, learning best practices, and um, we have templates, of course, and other as I said, best practices that we can leverage. There's a knowledge center that we can take advantage of in terms of recordings and other materials. I published an article a couple of years ago, and I believe that was accepted by the people who run the blog at that's part of the Business Analysis Center of Excellence in the Knowledge Center.
Absolutely. And that. So, yeah, so they provide a lot of resources, a lot of education and training for our BAs. Like you said, they provided all 80 of us to go through a systems thinking workshop last year. And so they do both internal and external. We send people to BBC and other conferences around the world. The Bluegrass chapter has their conference coming up May 1st and 2nd. It is out on our website, so feel free to go out there to the events and see what we are doing with that. So, okay, why don't you talk about agile versus waterfall within our organization?
Sure. The way that projects are classified, I guess it happens when they're funded, but basically there are waterfall projects and there are agile projects. Agile projects are what they call agile sanctioned projects, meaning that they're going to use a particular agile-like approach. It can be Scrum, could be Kanban, um, but basically there's at least one person that's what's called an agilist who is assigned to that project. It's sort of a role I think that comprises a product owner slash scrum master, and that person is supposed to help run the project in the program in an agile like manner. I myself am working on waterfall projects, which take take some time. It can confess that it's a little bit different for me because I come from an environment, or came from an environment, I should say, where I worked on strictly on agile, and so I hold a certified Scrum product owner certification. Typically, with agile, you're you're looking to deliver value in increments that are uh, quick and that are measurable. And you're I don't like the expression, but I have heard it said, fail fast and fail soon, so that you can learn from those mistakes and build upon the product that you're delivering. Um, Waterfall, on the other hand, as I'm sure everyone here knows, is more geared toward doing your analysis, then your design, then your development, your coding and testing. So you're not necessarily going to see value delivered until the
Very,
project is completed.
yeah.
But in the real world, as I'm sure we all know, the the systems that are developed usually comprise a little bit of both. Hopefully, with more of a slant towards agile, and I think it's a huge benefit to the business and to those of us in IT. We get validation that we're on the right track sooner, and typically, you're developing a story, and it's delivered over the course of a 2-week sprint, and that's my preferred uh, way to work. As I said, I work in waterfall projects currently, although I do try to uh, employ some lean thinking whenever and wherever possible, and introduce visual diagrams and things that will help people see what's needed sooner rather than later.
Absolutely. So yeah, it kind of is funny to hear fail fast, but it's deliver often, fail fast, inspect and adapt. So learn from your mistakes and adapt your change. So waterfall is more plan driven. You, like you said, build the plan up front and then deliver on that plan. Whereas agile is change driven. So you're developing the plan as you go. And the metric is not how well did you stick to the plan. It's more about how well did you deliver value to the stakeholders and that. So there's a nice conversation going on in the chat. So somebody asked, who is Peter's favorite coworker? And then Holly answers, Van might disagree, but I'm going to say it starts with an H and ends with an Ollie.
Holly, yes, Holly is a great person. She was part of our CBAP preparation program at lunchtime, and um, where's Van? Van is here too,
Yeah.
and Jenny was involved as well. Great
Yeah.
people, great
And
coworkers.
Bill is here because he thinks it starts with a B and ends with an ill. I don't think we want to be ill, though, do we?
I could have said illy, I guess.
Or starts with a W and ends with a.
Ilium.
All right. Peter, do you have any successful tactics with getting more lean agile practices into your more waterfall based projects?
Um, I don't can't think of any at the moment, but um, I like to get answers to questions as much as possible and raise issues up sooner and develop a working prototype. I'm a big believer in developing mock-ups, UI mock-ups, and things like that, and trying to have a straw man of a solution that or the shell of a solution that will give guidance. Are we on the right track? Um, are we way off base? And if we are, how do we adjust? All of that are things I've done in the past. I have found that even with agile, if you get too uh, far down the track before getting buy-in from stakeholders, that was one of the lessons learned for me when I worked on an agile project previously. Before Cincinnati, I was working with a UI UX person, and we were banging out prototypes, and I started developing user stories. Well, not really a good thing to start doing the user stories, and I mean it is and it isn't. But I think a lesson learned is for me then was don't do too much because some of it is throwaway. It can be wasteful in terms of time, and so uh, I learned a lesson there. Don't go off on a on a tangent developing user stories left and right. Better wait until it's completely a little bit more baked. Somebody had a question.
Yeah, but so what I heard you say there was, make it a little bit more highly collaborative environment, even if you're in waterfall. Possibly hold more workshops, as the Babak would call it. So you are collaborating with your stakeholders, getting feedback more often, even as you're doing those prototypes and mock-ups and that. And I will say that works. Sometime last year, I did that. I had stakeholders disagreeing on what it should look like. And when I created a prototype, a mock-up, and showed them exactly what it was going to look like here versus there, And that then I was able to get them to agreement, and they came and said, yes, it looks better up there.
Sometimes, well, I mean, we've all probably had the experience where a mock-up is developed and a stakeholder will think that that's it. It's just intended really to be a vehicle for discussion. But I've worked with stakeholders in the past where they've thought, okay, it's done. That you're gonna give that to me, and maybe you do give it to them, but I think also it has to have buy-in from more than just one stakeholder, because I've seen situations where people disagree. One stakeholder, depending upon level of authority, et cetera, may have a stronger voice in what gets delivered. But I still think it's wise with mock-ups and what have you to get buy-in from more than one stakeholder, and that's going to help you avoid waste and rework.
Yep. Okay. There was a question in chat about, please clarify the business analysis or analyst excellence is related to Peter's org or Bluegrass. So I don't know.
I'm in the Business Analysis Center of Excellence, as are many of the folks here on the call. That, as Aaron said, it's part of the overall IT organization, and we have an AVP who heads up the BA Center of Excellence, and she reports to another VP who's, I believe, a VP of IT. But basically, we exist as a COE exists as a community to help each other and to help the organization deliver tangible value in the solutions that are developed. We we support the main business entities that you'd or processes, I should say, that you'd expect to find in an insurance company: premium underwriting, claims underwriting, loss control, things of that sort. So those are and projects get approved and funded, and typically a BA is assigned, or BA or BAs are assigned to a particular project or program of work to be done.
Yep, absolutely. And somebody put in the chat to me that that is exactly what I've done over the last 8 years, is involve them as soon as I could. And so I think they're talking about getting feedback on prototypes and mock-ups and that, and like you're saying, get that feedback from the resource or from your business stakeholders before you get too far, which is a concept of agile, right?
Yep.
And that's
deliver
not forget
increments
resource manager.
Sooner. Sorry?
It says let's not forget the resource managers.
Who said that? I wonder who that resource manager could be.
I wonder. So let's talk about your accomplishments here. So what's your greatest accomplishment as a BA?
Oh gosh. Years ago I worked for EY, Ernst & Young management consulting firm, and had to work with stakeholders around the world, although primarily they were located in the UK. And needless to say, there's a time zone difference, and there's also a cultural difference, even though we share the same language. And most of the workshops that I participated in and held had to be done virtually, but we were able to get stakeholders together for a 1 or 2 week session in when I was in New Jersey at the time, and get everything whiteboarded as much as possible. But still, you can't get everything done, and a lot of items wind up on the parking lot. But we managed to deliver 2 solutions for markets, global markets, for knowledge and information sharing relating to quality assessments and also revenue projections. We built a rather robust revenue planning platform that was, even though we truly weren't doing it in an agile way, we did, I think, about 4 or 5 iterations over the span of 2 years. They were really like mini projects, and was very, very well received, and worked extensively with offshore development teams. So getting on the phone call every morning at 7 o'clock with the folks in India to vet the solution. That was challenging, but I'd say that was one of the biggest accomplishments I had, and won several awards for those programs and solutions that I worked on. And yeah, that was good stuff.
Very interesting. Sounds like great, interesting work. And not to mention your CBAP.
I will. The CBAP was challenging. I do encourage everyone to at least consider uh, doing it. But if you do CBAP, make sure that you commit the time required, and don't underestimate it. It does take time to prepare, but also I think if you have such a fantastic group of people, as I was fortunate to have at Cincinnati in the Center of Excellence and the lunchtime learning, um, that was just huge for me. I'm a person who learns best when I'm around other people, and that no exception here. The people that I studied with were huge in terms of my mastering the material. And the other certification that I encourage everyone to pursue is the Agile Analysis certification. If you haven't worked in Agile, it's an excellent way to get familiar with Agile concepts and the horizons that are part of the Agile analysis, strategic delivery, and the initiative horizon, as per the Agile analysis body of knowledge. And I think the AAC Agile analysis certification and the CBAP will stand you well as a professional in business analysis well into the future.
Yes, I absolutely agree. And that's one thing that I've noticed is, I've got certification from IC Agile, Scrum Alliance, as well as I do have the AAC and the CPOA. Um, and IIBA is the only one that I see that teaches more than just the delivery horizon. They take it back to the organization and strategy. Your effort and everything has to fit within the strategy of the organization and how you get resources from the organization and things of that nature. That AAC teaches that kind of stuff, and IIBA is the only one that does. And the AAC, is a certification that's about the business analyst role in Agile. Whereas Scrum Alliance, I see Agile, Safe, all of those, they teach Agile in general. But IIBA teaches about the business analyst role within Agile. And I think that is a crucial role for Agile teams. They don't have professional business analysis, services on their team, then they may not get the best products delivered. So,
Totally agree.
all right, I'll get off my soap box here now. Um, okay, so what is it about business analysis work that you find satisfying?
I think I started my career in technology, and I realized while technology was fun, it wasn't really as satisfying to me as being able to communicate and to look at business problems and opportunities holistically. And I think that a business analyst, those of us in the business analysis field, um, we can see the impact that we make, and we get to collaborate with our stakeholders and understand their motivations and what their pain points are, and their struggles, and the solution may be X, but ultimately it may be something better than X, and we get to play a role in that, and in terms of proposing alternatives and giving the stakeholder community food for thought as to how things might be done even better than they had originally envisioned. I think we are helpers, we are trainers, we are just the support, and we're also the tip of the spear, in my view.
Okay, excellent on that. So, yeah, I can agree with all that you're saying. You know, I've experienced a lot of that. And I truly enjoy the variety of work and the variety of people I get to work with, those resource managers. But as well as, we have the business architects, the enterprise architects, product owners, project managers, developers, testers, and business stakeholders from many business lines within our organization. So I've worked with many of them. It's a great variety. All up and down the organization chart, and that's very thrilling work. And that I've often said I can work with anybody from the CEO to the janitor, and I do enjoy that. So, okay. Would you have any advice for somebody coming into the profession, new to the profession?
Be open to all possibilities. Learn whenever, wherever, however you can. Build relationships. Relationships are key. Relationships with coworkers, with management, stakeholders. Be approachable, and just strive to give back and to deliver value in any way that you can. Be interested in the business, be interested in the technology and where it's going, and strive to always be aware of what's possible.
Even disruptive technology like AI, right?
Yes,
And how much
yes,
that
definitely.
really disrupted the entire business model and the business environment all around, not just for BAs, but everybody within the organization. And
Absolutely. I think AI is something that I'm interested in, and I think we all need to be interested in it and learn whatever we can to see where it makes sense to leverage AI, how it can be used effectively, and what it can do for us, and to be also aware of whatever ethical implications are associated with using AI. I think that's important.
okay. And yeah, absolutely. And one thing I really enjoy is we're providing the information, the analysis, and the data, and everything to back up decision making. So management, executives of the business, really see the business analyst as a trusted advisor, because if we're providing the proper and detailed analysis to really inform those decision making, then there's better decision making, decisions being made within the organization, and the management and executives of the business rely on us for that analysis and data.
There's a question in the chat from Holly, and I'll confess I don't have an answer right off the top of my head. Do I have any successful tactics with getting more lean or agile practices into your more waterfall-based projects? Other than the visual prototypes, visual things, carving out discrete sets of functionality, perhaps. The project, I'll confess, the projects that I'm working on, it's rather, it can be rather hard to really make significant headway with respect to lean or agile. But stay tuned. I'm going to try to make more of that happen as we move more into the phase of the project that I'm responsible for. And I did create at one point a PowerPoint deck to just make everyone aware of these are the core functions that we're trying to hit in phase 3 of the project. I'm not sure that it helped, but it certainly helped me in terms of crystallizing the processes that I was focused on, and I like to boil things down to the bare essentials. So in that sense, it was my being lean and trying to keep that first and foremost in my mind.
Okay. And I know you are a member of Bluegrass chapter. You were a member of New Jersey, and you've been for almost as long as I have, I think, if not longer. So, what do you find, valuable out of your IIBA membership?
The knowledge, the fact that there's a professional body that exists that promotes standards and best practices for business analysis, and there's a certifications. There are well-known certifications. I know that the Project Management Institute, PMI, has a PMP, and I think they've even years ago they came out with their own version of the business analysis certification, but
Yeah.
it's more PM focused. We are true business analysts and people who analyze business problems, and the community and the professionalism that exists in and that's provided and sponsored by IIBA is very valuable.
Yeah, absolutely. And you were right. PMI does have a certification for business analysis. So the PMI PBA, which I think the Bowling Association should file, lawsuit.
True.
And that, but the real distinction between those is IIBA talks about business analysis before, during, and after a project. Whereas PMI, if they define that, they would, their project management, they would lose their identity as a project. They define business analysis within the project. And that's really the difference between the two. I was asked several years ago by somebody who had the CBAP if I thought they should go get the PMI business analysis certification. I go, well, if you got the real one, why do you want the fake one?
Yeah, you and I had a conversation recently about that. That's true.
Did we? But
Yeah.
yeah, and I was joking and that, but I do see it as a lesser. That the CBAP is the premier seasoned BA certification. And I realize I am biased on that, but I've looked at both of them and one thing is if I go get the PMI BA certification, then I have to join PMI. And that's just more cost.
Right. There are other certifications that IIBA provides also that may be of interest if people are in case you're not aware that they provide I think Bill on the call has the business data analytics certification, and there's also a cybersecurity certification in addition to the one that you possess, Aaron, for certified product owner analyst certification, which is kind of the intersection of business analysis and product ownership.
Yep. IIBA has 7 altogether. So the 3 core is like a stepping stone. The ECBA is the entry level. You don't need BA experience or professional development training to get the ECBA. And then the CCBA is targeted for people 2.5, 3 years of experience. And then the CBAP is for 5 years and over, so that you've got that seasoned. They're very competency based. So there's an exam for each one of those. And the exam is, what they feel that, the knowledge you should have at that at that point in your career. And then the four specialized certifications that you have identified: the agile analysis, the business data analytics, the cybersecurity, and the product ownership analysis. So you can find out all about all of those on IIBA.org. And if you're interested in any of those, Bluegrass offers study groups. We got our Bob study group going on right now. We will have an agile one. Business data analytics is next. That starts in April. Then we'll have agile analysis, I think, in June, and then follow that with the product ownership analysis sometime in the fall. I don't know exactly when. So we don't have resources internally to do the cybersecurity one. I think we got 2 members of the chapter that have the cybersecurity analysis certification. But we do provide a study group. So if you're interested in getting any of those, Peter, I don't think you have your product ownership analysis one yet, do you?
No, I did do the study group a couple of years ago
Did you?
with you, and I didn't do as well in terms of the exams, but I don't know if that's something that I'm still interested in. I'm more interested in the business data analytics and AI and cybersecurity, in addition to the insurance courses that I hope to take as well. So, but can only take one bite of the apple at a time in order to focus my attention and energies on learning. The CBAP taught me that.
Yeah. And Kelly is asking in the chat, hi, Peter. Now it moved on me. High level, could you please describe your BA process throughout the project life cycle, e.g., when starting a new project and what artifacts you create, etc.?
High level, based on I guess a product or project vision, which would be a statement of high level goals and objectives for the project. I've been involved in the past in writing product or project vision statements, and in the past, when I worked in other organizations, we have developed business requirements documents, BRDs, and also FRDs, which is more functional in nature, where the actual design begins to get fleshed out. But I would say currently, I'm having I have meetings with stakeholders to elicit the requirements that they need or know of at that particular point in time, and I try to put them into if possible, into a process flow and document the current state, assuming I know enough about what the current state is, and document what the proposed to be or future state is, and define any particular business rule or rules that are associated with those processes. And all of these ingredients go into, in terms of waterfall at Cincinnati, they go into a requirements package, and not yet at the point where it's going to be shipped out for review and delivery, but ultimately once, again, purely being waterfall, once all of the requirements are vetted out and known and vetted, I would plan to send them to stakeholders for review and ultimately for approval. And if I can do anything to chunk that out and break it up and make it happen faster, as soon as we really get into the heart of the next phase of the project, or the phase 3, then yes, we'll do that. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say, you talk about BRD and FRD and other facts. You said
Yep.
that all goes into, I thought you were going to say into a blender and you turn it on and
And I added in a data flow. I added in a data flow diagram too for good measure.
so Kelly says,
As I don't know if anyone's ever done any of those. I used to be did data model and data architecture way back in the day, in addition to wearing several other hats back when I was a technology person.
so Kelly said you answered perfectly. Thank you. And then your favorite coworker, one of them anyway, Holly, says she's also interested in analytics, but her brain needs a break. And not only did she recently earn the CBAP, but she also earned her associate in insurance certification. So an insurance certification. So she's been at it. But she says tag her when you're ready to start the
I
analytics.
will. We'll have to see if we can rope in Thea to get another study group of some sort going with whatever people want to study or
That
whatever's.
classes start in April.
What's that?
Bluegrass data
Yeah, the
analytics
data analytics.
study group starts in April, and ours is very unique. There's three data exercises that students take, and the last one is to use the last 10 years. We got 11 years now of data for the Kentucky Derby, and you're going to use that data to predict who's going to win this year's Kentucky Derby.
Oh, I thought it was going to be how many mint juleps does my husband drink on Derby Day, but
Oh, sorry.
Let me know if you need that 11 years worth of data.
But you were going to present back to the class on what is that, Bill? May 1st, I think, because I think it's Thursday classes.
Yep.
And the Kentucky Derby is on May 3rd.
Yep.
So you'll tell us who you predict, and then 2 days later you'll find out if you're right or not.
The data that's available.
Right, yeah. So we've got all kinds of data from the horses, the jockeys, the owners, the trainers,
Jobs of data.
Every horse that ran for the last 11 years.
No, sign me up. Sounds fun.
It's interesting. We had some really good things. We had one person that actually placed a bet and won. So she and she's a teacher. She wasn't a student in her class, but she did it not from the data and that, but because of who the jockey was. She was very familiar with that jockey and followed him and everything. So, it was like 80-1 odds and she won.
Yeah.
So
Too bad she didn't put $1,000 down.
no, she put $2 down.
Yeah.
So payout was what, $160?
Yeah.
With that, I'm going to open up the floor. If you want to come off mic or you want to off mute and ask with your own voice, if you want to put it in the chat. Anybody have any questions for Peter?
Peter, do you ever have any challenges with your stakeholders? You're working in a waterfall project, but you're trying to insert some lean concepts, which is really a great idea. But do you have any kind of challenges or thoughts on how you approach that? How do you do stakeholder engagement is what I'm asking.
Well, great question. I would say I have to be delicate here. The stakeholders are a little bit, I think, culturally, they're not used to change. Change is difficult, and I think I'm still learning as I go with this, and generally, I think carving, again, going back to what I said earlier, carving out the distinct function or functions and getting agreement or consensus on them. For example, email communications is one aspect of the project, getting the specific verbiage, getting the approval from various levels. Sometimes things like that can be challenging, coordinating and getting people to agree. Yeah, I wish I had a better answer for you.
And
Now,
we didn't describe that earlier when we were talking about agile versus waterfall. But for those that are outside of CIC, our organization is in its 5th year of our agile journey or transformation, and that anybody who thinks that an organization can come in on a Monday morning and say, now we're going to be agile, and just it's a flip of a switch, it is not. It is a journey, and it's going to take years to switch from waterfall to agile. And you're going to hit some hybrid environments, ways of doing things in between there. But our organization did it right. I mean, when they made the determination that we were going to go Scrum, they sent people out to get training. So set up your people for success. Get them the training that they need in order to be excellent, and informed and, to provide Scrum, not just do the activities, but really change that mindset from waterfall to agile. Agile was a lot more highly collaborative environment. You're working with the stakeholders, the business stakeholders, every day, all the time. It's not, you talk to them once a week and, you go off and do your own thing. That's the way I kind of operated back when I was waterfall.
Holly had a question. I'm not sure if Jenny had another question.
Okay.
no, go
Go
ahead.
ahead, Holly.
Yeah. Okay, Peter. Favorite BA technique? Just your go-to technique and why?
Just I'm just going to say just generally a process flow. I love to draw, and the challenge for me is in getting, trying to be high level, but with also trying to get some elements or aspects of the detail in there. But generally speaking, I love swim lanes. I love, I just like drawing them. I also have become more comfortable with or interested in using state transition. I know we studied it during the course, but that's something I find useful, particularly as you know, if you're talking about an object or an entity that is changing status over time. Having that state transition diagram, table, at least a chart or a table, that documents the states and the transitions. That's very helpful.
So Jenny put functional decomp in the chat. So
I use functional decomp for all kinds of things like breaking down user stories. How am I going to do these in Epic?
Structures, all kinds of things.
Yeah.
So Peter, you talked about prototyping earlier. I thought you were going to say prototyping.
Yeah. What can I tell you?
All right. We are coming up on the hour workshops. So
yeah, man, that's true. Workshops are good too. I mentioned, I kind of alluded to that earlier. I did do workshops when I was working with stakeholders from around the world, primarily UK based, and having them together was key.
Nice. Seems like as BAs, I find I use workshops and reviews a lot. And usually we'll be talking about a diagram or some other technique within the workshop, but the workshop itself is like one of the key techniques that I use. And I think you probably use them too. Probably everyone here does.
Okay.
Might not be your favorite one though.
It's
know.
one that you do often, though,
Yeah,
especially
we do it a lot, man. Yeah.
so, and that's where you can really collaborate with your stakeholders and that. So, this or next Thursday, I guess it is. It's March 6th. We have Esta Lessing, runs Business Analysis Excellence out of Australia. So we're going to do a lunch and learn on AI. And give her time to get up and everything because it'll be 6 o'clock in the morning for her. That's at 2 o'clock on March 6th. And that, so I believe that's our next event for the Bluegrass. I'm thinking there's something on March 4th. And that, but any last minute questions? Well, we hope you enjoyed the event. As was put in the chat earlier, all attendees will get a follow-up email tomorrow with a link to the recording and CDU information. So, Peter, thank you very much for being here, for doing this. It's great learning about you and your career and everything. Everybody, appreciate
Thank you all.
attending and being here, spending some time with us. Thank you for being here and have a great rest of your week.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.